Hello, I'm Kumar here. Once again, we learn with Kumar. This is a small video clipping on our strategic case study runabout for the August 2020, and the topic what I'm going to talk about is sourcing of funds, which is, I suppose, going to be a very important one from your point of view as a senior manager in the finance function of the company, advising the board on funding. Because post-COVID-19, raising funds will not be that easy from the traditional sources. So we need to be innovative, out of box in our thinking, and most likely in the exam, this is what the examiner will expect from you on this area. So I'm a professional tutor with about 13 years of experience in these case studies, started from Top SEMA. And if you need any online assistance, tuition, one-to-one or on group, you can contact me on WhatsApp +9477 321 9387. My website will be soon available, learnwithkumar.com. And also you can get me on email, learnwithkumar5, that is digit 5, @gmail.com. And you can watch many of these videos on my YouTube channel, Learn with Kumar. Right, so let's move about. So as in this kind of a situation, or in any situation, when your people are looking for long-term finance, obviously they should have a project. Now in runabout, it may be about purchasing of hoverboards, it may be about putting up a new building, it may be moving into another country. Of course, the vision statement says move forward in Chile, but of course with post-COVID-19, many things can change. So prerequisites, you should never forget it. These are the things that the examiner will look at beyond the textbook stuff. So finance is known as the lifeblood of business, and I suppose today every business needs blood. So all the businesses all over the world is going through some kind of a sickness after COVID-19. So good capital budget is a prerequisite. Probably after COVID-19, once the operations start, you may have to revise your budgets. What you planned for 2020 may not be the plan for now. So you may have to revise your budgets. Good capital budget and a good project proposal. So the project proponent might prepare a project, but it's your role as the senior manager in finance to give your input into that project proposal, liaise with them and support them. This is a time where everyone of the organization will have to come with one team spirit, particularly after the kind of a crisis as what we are facing now. And long-term funding always should be aligned with the need. If your need is 100 million, you must source 100 million. That's what you should be doing. It should be always aligned with the need. See the need. It's not, something that just because your competitor is doing. No, it should be your need. It should be going along with your strategy, with your mission, your vision kind of thing. And of course, as the finance people, it's our responsibility to get the right amount at the right time and at right cost. So we know the cost of capital is so important. You can't, if you borrow at very excessive cost, you might not be able to generate the returns. And it should be the appropriate type of finance. As we know, long-term funding, long-term needs should be matched with long-term funding. Short-term needs should be matched with short-term funding. And also we have to look at from the organization's point of view, what kind of finance do we require? So why do we need long-term finance? Runabout, modernization. The hoverboards may need some kind of change in design and all that because of this COVID-19. You may have to have a sanitizer planted in each and every hoverboard, and all kinds of things may happen, because this is the industry that will get seriously affected with the COVID-19. Because people will not want a physical touch of a hoverboard that has been touched by another person. So we need to, we can't give up. We need to give that kind of an assurance that every hoverboard after being used is properly sanitized, and that you will have a sanitizer. So there may be a lot of modernization on the design of hoverboards that we may need to do it, and probably we have to get with our supplier. Maybe our way of doing things, the dockyards, the docks, we may have to sort of rethink, because people may not want to go for docks kind of thing. Maybe little areas sort of to stack up the hoverboards. Diversification. We are a company, we are totally dependent with 15,000 employees and a 90-odd billion turnover. We are dependent on one particular product, one particular type of activity. And it may be a time for the company to rethink about going into other areas of activity in micro-mobility. And maybe acquisitions. I'm thinking of always the DocBike. The DocBike is not a competitor as such. I mean, they are comparatively very small, but surely it's a company that we can acquire, and we probably can go into another area of activity of micro-mobility, because they are not in our books, right? So long-term funds are very much required in large quantum, and that's what when we say about long-term funds, it's about large quantums over a long period of time. We should be looking at long-term funds. So what type of funds are available to RA, Runabout, at this moment in time to finance the implementation of their post-COVID-19 strategies? As I said, what's the impact on financial statements? Already you would have realized they are about 54.8% or 55% geared on the basis of book values. I'm emphasizing it is book value. So when in the exam, when you're talking about gearing, say it's based on book value, because the real market values may be totally different, and your gearing may be low when you go by the market values. Truly speaking, we should go by the market values. We do not know the number of shares in the company at the moment, so therefore we cannot make a kind of a market value capitalization. We know the market price of the share at least as at April, but we can't make a market capitalization calculator because we have no idea of the number of shares. But very important to tell the examiner that this is based on book values, because as the finance manager, you will have more access to market values, and based on market values, your gearing may be very much lower than the 54.8, which will open up a new window. If you look at from the book values, your window is almost closed. When you say 55% gearing, people will get excited. So don't unnecessarily excite your board of directors. And for that, you need to know these are based on some book value. Where and how do you get their funds? So this is very important at this moment of time. Some governments are making a lot of initiatives of giving certain funds at very subsidized rates for businesses to revive. So you should be looking all those possibilities. Maybe Nancy might give some indication, but this is what we should be talking about. What are the incentives that you provide for these people who are going to provide funds? Because these are not easy times. No one is going to take their money and give it to you unless you have a very, very good kind of a proposal in your hand. So you must have a good business proposal, good business plan, good strategy to move forward. So, and that's the incentive. People should see, the potential investors should see the potential for the company. And also your attitude, the directors' attitudes, the top management's attitudes towards this post-COVID-19. I'm talking about the COVID-19 because that's a current topic. But even forgetting the COVID-19, always when you are seeking finances, you should be looking for all these kind of things. Also, we must be very mindful of the weighted average cost of capital or cost of capital, because you can't raise money at very high cost of capital and you can't generate profits. So the cost of capital is the rate at which we discount the project to find out whether the NPV is positive or not. So we must try and keep our cost of capital at the minimum levels. So there are a couple of theories. I'm not going to go into those details on these slides. Modigliani and Miller, and traditional weighted average cost of capital theories. But whatever it is, the way good forward is to reduce your risk. Good corporate governance, good risk management, good internal controls, good capital leverage, good gearing, right kind of things should reduce your cost of equity, should reduce your cost of debt, and then it will reduce your WACC, which is going to be very important. So once again, 54.8% is your gearing as at 31st December 2019 based on book values. Because I know many students will write about 54.8 and say it is excessive. But you as the finance manager should know that is purely a very hypothetical figure. Because maybe, I don't know, when you put the market values, your gearing might come down to about 30%, I don't know. So, but that's something which we need to be thinking about. So there are basically two sources from which we can raise money: internal sources, external sources. Retained earnings. Now, don't go by the statement of financial position, retained earnings, and say that you have so much retained. Already some of these monies are invested. So if I remember right, the cash what was available in the bank was 2.3 billion as at 31st December 2019. But today the things may have got changed a lot, because I think if they have got caught to the lockdown, there would not have been any operations happening, no revenue happening, and probably the cash would have got shrink a lot. So we do not know that one. But one area of sourcing that what we must look at always, this excess asset. This is the time for each finance manager to do a fine combing of all your assets. They do have, if I remember, about 143 billion total assets as at 31st December 2019. 142.9 billion, if I remember right, billion dollars, right? And now that's an area where you can go and check it. The hoverboards, because hoverboards has a life period of 6 months. Do we have enough excess hoverboards? I don't know what other, all these buildings and office buildings and yards and all kinds of things, whatever. Look at whether all these things are necessary at this moment of time. Vehicles, you might be able to raise a lot of money through by selling some of your excess assets, and also effective management of working capital. Very important. This is a time where we have to support our suppliers. Don't exploit the suppliers. But on the other hand, we might be, because our sole supply is mirroring for our boats, we might be able to negotiate longer credit terms if they are a stronger company. And also, we can access many banks, because it's in a foreign country. Through our banker, we can give a bank guarantee kind of a thing, and maybe we can get 180 days kind of credit from the bank, not from the supplier. They will discount what we call nuisance credit, and you might be able to get that kind of credit. So look for those options available whenever we are looking. First, collection of money, no doubt, without saying, it goes collect money as quickly as possible, but here is mostly credit card. So we will be able to negotiate credit cards, people to settle much earlier, and look at every possible area where you can manage your working capital. Then coming to external sources, of course, you have the debt capital, venture capital, and ordinary share. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each and every these area. But remember, the market is very, very dull at this moment of time. So unless you can come out with a super plan and a strategy, this is not the time for you to go to the market and raise money. Debt funding. So we are going for debt funding, not easy as I said, but still maybe an option available. Look at the collaterals. So we do have about 142.9 billion worth of assets, and we do have, I think, loans about 62.4 billion. So look at that one, see whether we can get some kind of an extension of the loan repayment, because very important that we manage the three C's: cash, customer, and cost. So this is a role for in the strategic management for you: cash, preservation of cash, management of cost, and keeping customers happy all the time. Look at the existing debt covenants. Some of the covenants maybe we will come to breach. In that case, good for us to negotiate, renegotiate, all that kind of thing. Of course, I've been talking about the gearing levels and cash flow certainty. Now, these are very difficult times, difficult to predict even what's going to happen. So if you borrow money, we must be very mindful. Interest is mandatory. Interest is compulsory. Whether we have cash or not, profit or not, we need to pay interest. So as the board of directors, when you're advising them, you must be mindful of all these things. This is what your examiner would like to hear from you in this case study. Now, why I put venture capital? Venture capital is funds that is provided for startup businesses. Now, this our runabout is not a startup. They would have started up this some years back, but now it's not a startup business. It's a listed company. So why I put this is not an option for us. So if you put this as an option in raising money, examiner will not be very happy. We are a listed company. Listed companies cannot go for venture capital kind of funding. But why I put up this is maybe some part of this company may be sold to on a management buyout. In that case, the venture capital can come to the management buying team, and they will take a stake of equity. They'll have an exit mechanism and a strong backup to that management buying company. But I have specifically put this one just to tell you all that venture capital is not an option of funding. So just don't go and list out everything that is available in the textbook, because this is what your business sense is. This is what the blueprint is telling about. I know what I'm talking about. Equity. Rights issues, yes, we can go for a rights issue, but again, is this the right time to go for a rights issue? Should we wait till we get stabilized? So issues should be based on, if you're going for a rights issue, market price discounted. Market price is what shareholders perceive, and maybe we can go for a preference shares. You know, preference shares, it's part of equity, but in the financial statement will be shown as non-current liabilities. But the condition is you pay a fixed dividend and it must be paid in preference to the equity dividend. So that's another option that is available. Of course, from company's point of view, no big advantage, because dividend what you pay is not tax deductible, whereas if you pay interest, it is tax deductible. So these are options, but again, as I said, may not be a good option at this moment of time. This moment of time, for almost all the businesses, including Runabout, it will be your own internal cash preservation, good effective working capital management, and also looking for these government initiatives. Many governments have come out with many kind of things. I'm from Sri Lanka. My own country, they have put up the Central Bank of Sri Lanka has given sort of almost big amount of money to the commercial bank to be given at very, very concessional rates for businesses to revive. So you need to look for this kind of funding at this moment of time. This is not time for you to go for traditional funding. If it is COVID-19 scenario, but if the normal scenario, all these options are available. So types of funding. Security financing. Essentially, we have been a listed company. We can go to the capital market. That's what we call security financing. We can issue equity shares. preference shares, debentures, loan notes, all those are available for runabout. May not be the time, but surely it's an option available in normal situation. So this may be a time where you might want to even think of, walking slowly for next 1 year or so, and maybe you might want to get some so-called bridging finance. Bridging finance is kind of a temporary finance which you will take till your main sources of funding comes up, of course, obviously at a higher rate, and work through that one so that you'll be successful in a good raising of money. International finance is available, but once again, our runabout is a local company in a big country with 1 billion population, 30 million. So international, because we are not doing any international transactions, but surely it doesn't prevent us from looking and seeking for international funding. So that's another option available. And of course, local finance, which is available through banking sources, non-banking sources. You can look for all those money. So, as I said, your responsibility to revise your capital budgets after COVID-19, do a very, very thorough investment appraisal with sensitivity analysis and all simulations. Scenario planning is going to be a very, very important task for each one of us. Do scenario planning and get your various scenarios right, because it's a question of your actions, resources, and strategy in the days to come. Your actions, resources, and strategies. Matching long-term needs with long-term finance. Obviously, we know long-term finance is more costly because there's more uncertainty, but we should match. If we don't do it, we might have this so-called refinancing coming up. For a solid company, we can look for refinancing, but that may be very risky at this moment of time. And also obtaining, as I said, bridging finance. So these are some of the things which you can put it up in your exam paper nicely and collect a little bit more than your other students, because these are not the terms that the students will normally use. So this is why I have put up these things so that you can use these things and get more marks. Idea is to get 80 out of 150 and get through the exam. That's the idea. So the other sources also very important: government concessions, particularly after post-COVID-19. Almost every government has opened up. I saw Canada, Australia, New Zealand. All the countries have opened up some facilities. Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, India. Supplier credit, as I said, try to look for more negotiations with the suppliers, with the minery, and also maybe, as I said, through a bank you can get what we call bank guarantee and nuisance credit. Private equity, why I put this one is private equity is generally available not for a company like Runabout, but some of these companies, I think in the days to come, they might think of delisting, because listing is going to be a big problem with this COVID-19, disclosures, or all kinds of things. So people might be thinking of delisting. In the event Runabout think about delisting, you can get a private equity partner to buy shares in the market so that we can go for delisting. So I put that as an option which you can work it out. Leasing, we know, is available, but we need to comply with IFRS 16 leasing standard. And also private loans. There may be, some of the directors who could advance some loans. In that case, of course, the related party disclosures will come into play. But never give up on any of these options. These are listed companies, but still, some of these people might be able to raise some private loans. And if they are related parties, then we have to come for related party disclosures. So practical considerations of capital structure. Always you have to look at the company's ability to borrow money, the debt capacity, debt covenants, any what we have, the gearing you need to look at, because the moment the gearing goes up, your cost of equity goes up, your cost of debt also can go up. And also we have to look at from other stakeholders and rating agencies. what is your rating, what will happen to your rating, and how will the others look at your company. And also we have to look at the tax position of the company. If you are making losses, then there's very little point in raising money through loans, because the tax relief on interest will not be available if you are making losses. But up to 2019, runabout have been making profits. But why I put up is, if the examiner says 2020 and 2021 they are going to end up with losses, then saying or suggesting to raise debt finance may not be a very wise thing to do, because tax relief is not available. So you have to look at group capital structuring, tax issues, country risk, kind of thing. As I said, very important when you look at types of finance provided. Now here we are a group of companies, parent and subsidiaries, many subsidiaries, maybe transfer pricing and thin capitalization. Now this is a very important one. They might want to give a loan, the parent might want to give, buy a subsidiary or control a subsidiary by giving them, by not buying equity, but having loan, big amount as loan. So for example, they want to set up subsidiary, they might put 20 million share capital and 100 million debt capital, which is strategically a good thing, because on the 100 million, the subsidiary will pay interest, and that interest is allowed for taxation purpose. Because if they put that 120 million, 20 plus 100, 120 million as equity, the dividends what they pay is not allowed for tax purpose. So as a group, they can get a big relief as a consolidated group if they give it as loans. But the tax authorities are smart, and therefore they have put certain thing what we call thin capitalization. You can't capitalize thin. In other words, you can't have a very high gearing inside the intergroup. If they find that kind of thing, they will apply the thin capitalization rule. So the rule is very simple. What it says is, they will look at, okay, this subsidiary, if they were complete outsider, how much debt they can raise? 40 million. Okay. Up to 40 million, we will allow you the interest relief. Anything over 40 million that you have put, sorry, the tax authorities will say no relief for you. So you need to be mindful of thin capitalization rules. In UK, they say 50% gearing, if I remember, gearing, and some interest cover they have put it up. Different countries will have different rules, so we need to comply. So why I put up this as is, if the company is taking your advice on financing a subsidiary, you need to talk about the thin capitalization rules. So when a company pays a dividend, there is no tax relief for the payment. When it pays loan interest, the interest is tax allowable. This means companies would prefer debt capital. This is all intercompany. Because intercompany, your own subsidiary, doesn't matter whether you have 20 million share capital or 100 million share capital. What matters is you can get tax relief when you give it in form of debt. I hope you will understand this part of it. So thin capitalization rules aims to stop companies from getting excessive tax relief on interest. So very simple rule they apply. Normally, subsidiary, how much can they borrow as a separate entity? Up to that amount we will allow. Anything and above, that means it's sort of abusing the rules, we will not allow, or the tax will not allow. So this occurs when they have entered into a borrowing with a related party that exceeds the loan a third party lender. Related party is the parent. Parent has given money which exceeds which a normal third party will give. So this is again very important for you and me to understand it. So this is what they will do. The excess will be disallowed. Right? So thanks a lot. This is a little clipping which will hopefully will be useful for your strategic case study and even for other your studies on finance, long-term sources of funding. So as I said, I'm Kumar from Sri Lanka. I've been doing this tutoring for last 13 odd years now. And I've been working with INSEF Business School. I work with Practice Test Academy and also with Ultimate Access. So if you need any assistance, if you need tuition, you can contact me. My website will be available soon. There'll be many more videos on my YouTube channel, Learn with Kumar. And even if you are not coming for studies, don't worry, tuition. If you need any clarification, just send me a WhatsApp and I'll try to answer all of you. So thank you very much and God bless all of you.